Bitch, I'm about to blow up. Say what? Bitch, I'm about to blow up.
What's happening, guys? Silent Mike here on location. Mark Smelly Bell. We're here in the middle of this fountain. Some
fountain of youth.
Some palm trees, palm oil.
We're about to go do a seminar at Barbell Brigade for Mr. Bartholomew P. Kwan III. That should be fantastic, and we're going to do a little Q&A action here with Silent Mike. I'm hanging with Silent Mike, so I figured why not jump on his YouTubes and hang out.
Yesterday we were kicking it with CT Fletcher. Footage to come. Mark Bell's YouTube channel. You already know where it is.
Yeah, check it out.
You
YouTube.com/supertraining06. First question for you, Silent Mike, is how in the hell did you get to be so ripped? That's question number one. That's what's on everybody's mind.
The truth is, steroids.
I knew it.
100%.
I knew steroids were probably
They're always involved.
Instrumental.
The truth is, I'm not that ripped. I'm not that strong, but I'm trying to be middle of the road.
Working on it?
Working on it. 8 years, maybe another 8 years, I'll be there.
What do you think's responsible for the gigantic schnoz that you have going on there that's kind of pushing your hat off your head there?
It's all the Italian genes.
Italian?
Hey!
Italian stallion? Hey, forget about it.
Hey, Fat Dan, hey, buddy.
All right, let's get down to some serious questions here.
What is your typical daily caloric intake along with ratios? I think they mean ratios, protein, fats, carbs.
About how many calories you take in a day? You weigh about 200 pounds right now, right?
For maintenance, kind of if I'm maintaining my weight, it's probably just above 3,000. God damn. Terrible lighting too. They're much bigger. Don't worry.
I work out every day.
About 3,200 calories. What about yourself? You eat like a bird.
How'd you come to that calorie intake? Is it something you just kind of been messing with for a while?
Yeah, there's fancy calculations you can do, and they'll give you an idea.
Fancy pants?
Yeah, fancy pants calculations, but basically you just have to track and then see what your weight happens and figure out what's best for you, because like Mark and I, sadly, eat about the same amount of calories, even though Mark's 40 pounds, 50 pounds more muscle.
700 more pounds.
750 pounds more muscle than I have.
I don't really track my calories too often, but I have been on those style of diets before, bodybuilding style diets, and usually it's kind of broken down for me, and I just kind of pay attention to how many carbs, how many grams of fat, and how much protein's in each meal. I don't really count the calories. I don't like to get into that too much, but it is highly effective. You
straight up look like Mario. I think he's talking to me, not you. I think
like Mario and Luigi fame?
Yeah, I think that's a good thing.
That's a compliment. That's the most famous video game of all time. I think Mario's like in like 30 different video games.
He's probably a billionaire.
Boing, boing.
And all he can do is jump. What's his superpower? Jumping?
Is he a plumber, right?
He's a plumber.
Yeah.
The richest plumber in the world.
He's a working man. Somebody asked a question on Instagram. I took a selfie, believe it or not. Me and Silent Mike, we were driving to somewhere.
Oh yeah.
Where the hell did we go today?
To CT Fletcher.
Oh yeah, yesterday to CT Fletcher. And somebody was very rude on the Instagrams. They wanted to know how many phone books Silent Mike was sitting on when I snapped the picture inside my brother's Durango that we were cruising around in.
Yeah, I don't know why people think I'm so short. Like, you're probably around 6 foot, and I'd say I'm 5'8", 5'9".
Let's stand up and show people. See? He's not that short.
At least 5'8", 5'9".
He's coming up short in some different areas, but...
this is from a user. His name is #FatOwl. That's a little weird, but he kind of asks...
Sounds awfully familiar.
Yeah, he's ugly, but we'll answer his question anyways. He asks, what type of diet do you recommend?
Delts are blocking the, the fountain.
My DLB delts. He asks, what type of diet do you recommend for athletic performance, and how much focus should an athlete have on physique or performance? That's super individual. Someone's calling me. I'm in the middle of doing a question and answer. Yeah. Don't they know I'm busy?
Who's this, your mom?
Nobody. They're not even booked. So the type of diet for performance will differ from a power athlete to a basketball player to a marathon runner. The level of like protein to carbs and fat may change. For most strength athletes, really moderate fat, moderate to high carb, and high protein is probably going to be your best. You're going to need all three in a lot of different forms and a lot of amounts to get stronger. If you're trying to look good and that's your sport, then you're going to have to manipulate those carbs and fats eventually to get a little bit leaner. But if you're purely a strength athlete or performance athlete, I think you have to 100% focus on your sport. Mark and I are in a little bit different position. I don't want to speak for Mark too much, but you know, we kind of go middle of the road. We want to look pretty good. We want to look like we lift. We want to bat both ways. And
swing from both sides of the plate.
Yeah, and still lift heavy. What do you think about performance diets?
I would just say, like, yeah, if you're trying to look good, that there's probably a little bit more suffering that's involved in that. There's going to be some restriction somewhere, whether it's from your calories, overall calories, or whether it's you suffering on a treadmill or suffering doing sprints or whatever style of cardio that you'd like to do. Maybe it's just you suffering and not eating as many carbohydrates as the next person. Each person is going to be a little bit different when it comes to looks. And when it comes to performance, I don't think you can be deprived of anything when it comes to performance. It's going to be very crucial that your calorie intake is sufficient enough to meet your daily needs, and then some, I would say. You know, especially when it comes to strength training, I think it's crucial that people realize that you are always going to have a better chance of lifting more weight the more that you weigh. I realize not everybody wants to be fat, so that's not always an option, but that's something to always keep in mind. If you just gain a little bit of weight, you gain 5, 6, 7 pounds, doesn't sound like much, but tell me how much better your bench press feels after you gain that weight, how much better your squat feels.
Does my nose or your cheeks carry any superpowers that the fans should be aware of? Sadly, no. Our brains are our superpowers. That's all we got.
These cheeks actually can hold a lot of energy. They're
like a camel.
Well, I basically kind of suck the energy out of everybody else that I'm around, and that's what's stored in here. Yeah, it's quite complicated to be totally honest with you.
There's two different questions that are the same. Boss wants to know, or excuse me, it's not Boss, it's Joel wants to know, will you ever jump on a cycle? I'm not really big into bicycles. They make my legs tired.
Unicycle?
Maybe not a unicycle. Motorcycles are dangerous, so probably no cycling for me. And my other friend here wants to know if I'm natural, and have I ever taken, or lifetime natural, or have I taken anabolic steroids or pro hormones?
Got to put it in quotes.
I agree with Mark. The first time he said, like, natural is kind of a weird word. Nothing really about anything in this life is natural. This air, we're in the Los Angeles area, and we know the air is not natural. I have not taken any anabolic steroids nor pro hormones.
Liar!
Just not my route. Not where I want to go.
His nose is growing. You see that?
It's already been big. I'm not lying.
Everyone's got different goals. Everyone's got different desires and different dreams about what it is they want to do. For some people, that means making the jump, and for some people, that means being like Silent Mike and just keep grinding and pushing as hard as he can without the use of performance enhancers, we'll say.
How often do you do beltless deadlifts and squats as part of your training?
Let's talk about the belt for a little bit here. When do you think you should put the belt on in training?
I personally put the belt on at different times each session, depending on how good or bad I feel. But typically, I'd say anywhere from 60 to 80%, depending on your program or your goal for that day.
What about a brand new lifter or someone that's only deadlifting, like, let's say 275 or 300? Should they get a belt too, you think?
I think they can, and I don't think it would hurt. I think there's no problem with wearing a belt ever. I don't know exactly what the research says, but I'm pretty sure all research, or at least my experience, doesn't really show that it's going to harm you. All it's going to do is protect you and maybe allow you to lift a little bit more weight.
I haven't heard a ton of research about belts myself, but I know that Brad Gillingham does his 5 to 5 squat routine. Brad Gillingham successfully pulled 881 pounds double overhand hook grip
USAPL.
In the USAPL. He does his 5 to 5 without a belt in the squat, and it helps build up his lower back to pull more weight. I also have heard that there has been some studies on straps, using straps in training, and that people that use straps in training to help build up their back strength, it's also kind of helping improve their overall strength, which is therefore transferring over well into things like the deadlift. Hence, Benedict Magnuson using straps and other great pullers using straps.
George Lehman, Pete Rubish.
So I guess you can kind of say it's safe to say that something that's going to allow you to overload, such as a belt, is probably going to be universally good for most people. Beltless training, I think, can be really effective. I would just be a little bit cautious, be a little bit careful with it.
I personally found I've done a lot of 6-week cycles or whatever beltless, and being a little bit of a smaller guy, as soon as I go back and put the belt on, I don't really feel a difference. I feel worse sometimes getting adjusted to the belt. So there may be something to the size that you are and doing all that beltless work.
Maybe a better recommendation, rather than doing like a block of beltless stuff, would be, if you're going to do a few weeks of beltless stuff, still include the belt towards the final sets of your workout. If using 315 for sets of 3, maybe use 335 for 2 extra sets of 3 with the belt on, so that way it never becomes too foreign to you.
Last question from Squatty Pippin. He asks, tattoos or nah?
Nah, not tattoos.
I got no tattoos either. All natty. We're both all natty. No tattoos.
I'm natty-ish for today, I think.
I have nothing against them, but it's not really my thing. We're running out of time. We got to go teach some peeps how to lift some fucking weights. Mark Smelly Bell, at Mark Smelly Bell on Instagram, at Silent Mike with 2Ks, and we're out of here. Later.